Today we'll head over to Fairhaven, New Jersey and meet with Tim Cross, owner of Merrick Construction. This episode is sponsored by Benjamin Obdyke Roof and Wall Products and their HydroGap Drainable House Wrap. Build better with Benjamin Obdyke. To learn more about their 150 years of building product innovation, click on the link in the description. Hey Tim, how are you?
I'm great, John. Good to see you.
This is a beautiful house.
Thank you very much. Thanks. It's Seashore Colonial, kind of quaint to fit the neighborhood, which is not, a ton of big homes. I did a little bit different with bringing in the black window frames, which was really just to make the house stand out a little bit.
Well, I think it looks great. I like the look.
Thanks.
You want to go inside and take a look?
Sure.
So right off the bat, this I haven't seen this before. This almost feels like rubber on this house wrap.
Yeah. So what they did was HydroGap put these little dimples, these little blue dimples on it, and what that does is keeps the cedar shake from sitting flat against the house wrap and leaves a little air gap. That air gap is what allows moisture that gets through the siding to drain and without affecting the siding, because if the siding was stuck up against it, the moisture gets trapped there and then it'll eventually seep into the back of the siding. So this allows it to drain.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a great product. Front foyer, obviously this is a temporary door we have in place here now until the new custom door comes. We don't like to put that in too early for fear of it getting damaged with bringing in materials in and out. So it's an expensive door and you don't want to take the chance of someone banging a piece of trim into it.
That would ruin somebody. That would ruin your day and whoever did it.
That's correct.
That would ruin their day too.
That's correct.
Now, up on the ceiling here, these are just 2x4s, but I'm assuming they're going to be capped with something.
They are, yes. We have oak beams that we made that are going to cover each one of these, that we are putting a wax finish over the top of the oak beams. I'll show you the beams in a moment.
Oh, great. Now, is that red oak or white oak?
That is white oak.
I love white oak.
Yeah,
I see your floors are white oak.
All the floors are white oak. This is select 4-inch wide white oak, and we did the same thing for the beams on the ceiling in the foyer here. And one of the nice touches about this ceiling is that there's no molding going to be run around the outside edges. So, which typically you see to cover gaps, and it gives you a little bit of leeway. This is a much cleaner look, which is going towards that whole transitional style.
Can you talk a little more about transitional style?
Sure. Transitional style is in between traditional and modern. So it's kind of a mixture of the two. You're not going too far traditional and you're not going extreme modern. You're getting a little bit of both. And what that basically comes down to is being simpler. Not a lot of molding details everywhere. And if you do have them, they're simple details. They're square edge. There's not a lot of grooves cut in them and sort of rounding over edges. It's a much more simplistic look. This is the dining room area, and the ceilings on the whole first floor are all 10-foot high ceilings. And this detail of the panels, what we're going to do is all of the panels, including the actual wall itself, is going to be painted one color.
Is that the color?
This is the color. Yes.
I like it.
Yep. So it'll be from trim all the way up to that molding that we built, that little kind of tray ceiling that we created around the dining room ceiling. That's all going to be this color.
It will stop at, it looks like a piece of 1x2 right there.
Actually, we're bringing it all the way out and up and to the
right
vertical point, right to the ceiling. And the only thing that would be white is the actual flat ceiling itself there. So this is something very simple, not like the typical crown moldings that you would see, which are nice, but again, a little different for this home. This is a little bit more simplistic. But it gives you a little bit of detail. And by painting it all one color, it makes it less busy. It's not, if you were to paint this white and this the wall color, it gets very, very busy. But once you paint it one color, it really kind of, levels it out, if you will.
I think it's going to look great. Now, and the trim, is the casing going to be?
Yes, yeah, the casing, all of the trim, even the trim on the windows will all be that color.
And when you transition from the dining room into this room, what about?
So we'll stop either at the front of the jam or at the back of the jam. Once I see what color of going in here, I'm not sure what I'm doing in there yet, but we'll stop either front or back of jam. But usually we stop here. So it's anything within the room is all one color. These speakers, I'm going to do the invisible speakers, where you basically, the speaker gets put in and you spackle right over it, and you won't see anything, but the sound comes through vibration.
The ceiling becomes a speaker.
Yes. Yeah, the speaker is built in, and it literally, you spackle right over it, you paint right over it, you don't see anything, but the sound comes through.
Fantastic.
Yeah, again, it's to keep that clean look.
I like it.
The kitchen, eating area, and family room.
What I like is the separation between rooms with just this beam.
Right. That was the idea. That was what I kind of worked off of here was a center line off of the front door, the back door. That's the light that will be the table that's going to be placed here is all centered. And these two beams are the same distance from the center line of the door to the left and to the right. And that creates separation without having a separation of this is family room, this is the eating area, and that's the kitchen.
Fantastic. So you have a nice big white oak table here?
Possibly, yes, for the right buyer.
So tell me about these countertops because I love the finish on them.
So the countertops are just a black absolute granite, but what makes them interesting is the antique, or they also call it leatherized finish. And what that does is, one, it gives it a whole other look. This black absolute polish is what you used to see. Doesn't look anything like this. It's amazing. Just doing that texturizing gives it a different feel, and then also it's honed, so it's not super shiny. Which again gives it a nice, real subtle look.
And it goes great with this sink.
Yeah, the farmhouse, Kohler farmhouse sink really looks nice.
This is nice.
Yeah, custom hood. A little detail built in to follow what the lines of what we're doing with the ceilings, a modern groove that's called. It's a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch groove cut in. The exhaust hood will go in here and it gets vented up and out through the side of the house.
Is any trim going where the cabinet, where the MDF right now is meeting the ceiling?
Yes, so the crown molding that you see there, that simple cove, that will run around inside across the top of the window, back around and over, and I believe it runs around the hood also.
So here the jam isn't installed yet, and I can see you're using 5/8 sheetrock, which I think is really a nice touch.
Sure.
You want to talk a little bit about why you use 5/8?
Sure, yeah. I mean, typical home is built in 1/2 inch sheetrock, mainly because of cost. There is cost implications with going with the 5/8, but the advantages of it outweigh the cost implications. So the advantages are sound, it's quieter, it's straighter. So you're going across all of these studs that are 10 foot tall. Not every stud is perfectly straight, so you can get a little bit of wave in it. With the thicker sheetrock, it takes out some of those waves. It makes it smoother. So it really is those reasons that you want to spend a little bit more on the sheetrock, because you'll notice the difference in the sound transmission between floors and in the general look of the home's walls.
Now, does it change how you have to trim out the windows? Meaning, will you have to use extension jambs?
So, good point, John. So we order the windows custom to the knowing we're using 5/8 sheetrock. So we just have to tell them when we're ordering it, and they put a extension jamb on the window to match the sheetrock size.
Fantastic.
Yep. Again, staying with the transitional style, which is the lighter natural woods, a little more simplistic, so not dark stains or anything like that, keeping it very clean. That's what the quartered oak gives you, like this flecking detail that's in here. Just has a lot of character, but it's not too busy. So this is Quartz, and what we did with this was just had to give the thick appearance to it to make it seem a little bit beefier and more substantial. We had it mitered and brought down so that it has a 2.5 inch edge going all the way around instead of the standard, which would be 1 1/8 inches. It just, when you walk in, you see that and you say, wow, that looks really nice, and it's got mass to it, and people like that. You know, it's something that it's extra, definitely costs more, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. Very nice. You want to take a look in the living room and check out the fireplace?
Sure.
So over here, this is the gas fireplace.
Actually, this is wood burning.
Wood burning.
Yeah.
Wood burning fireplace. You don't see that many of them.
I know, that's because of me. That's first house I built, I put a gas fireplace in, and I hated it. I wanted to hear the sound of the wood, and you know, you get a good size flame. You can only get a certain size flame with the gas fireplace. So to me, on the one that I feel you're going to use the most, I do wood burning. If I were to put fireplace in the master bedroom, it would be gas.
That's great to know, and I think a lot of people are going to like that.
Yeah.
And you have built-ins on the side.
These are going to have doors with some shelves in there that will store some of the audio-visual equipment that will be in there. So maybe the TV controls, all that sort of stuff would go in the center. And then we're doing open bookshelves on top that are recessed back to about 12 inches with an oak face frame.
Are these beams going to be white oak?
No, so those will be painted. We're keeping the white oak to just a few because of the price. You know,
Sure.
It's expensive, so we're keeping it to a few details just to tie them together. So it's on the ceiling in the foyer. It'll be on the face of these bookshelves, and then obviously on the island. Just one of the 4 bedrooms in the home, and a little detail here again we did with the oak was the framing valley beam comes down through there, and instead of just sheetrocking around that and having corner bead on it, I decided to make it a little bit of a highlight, and we covered it in the oak, and again just put a wax finish over the top of it to match the flooring, which if you want we can roll back a little bit so you can get a look at that.
What I like about the white oak is it's a subtle theme throughout the home.
Correct. I felt it kind of just goes with the whole home and the way that transitional feel. Master bedroom, just did something a little bit different again. Bumped the ceiling up in here, so it's 9 foot around the perimeter, and then it's about 10 foot 2 in the center. And then again, just adding the modern groove on the ceiling, this done in a much smaller groove. So this is a 4-inch on center with a 1/8 by 1/8 groove. So the game plan with the whole second floor was we were trying to get all of the woodworking done, the ceiling, the moldings, the crown molding done up here, so that we could essentially hand over the whole second floor to the painter. So that we're not going to be in his way, we're not creating any dust, so that he can come upstairs, take over this area, and start finish painting from the back room all the way down till he gets down into the first floor.
Fantastic. I'd love to come back and see it once this is all painted.
Oh yeah, it's a big difference when you take up all the coverings, the protective coverings over the floor. It really doesn't take shape until it's fully clean, but once it is, it looks fantastic.
I'm sure. I have to say, I really like these doors. Did you pick these doors?
I did, yeah. So these doors, again, following that style. This is if you looked at the underside of the stair. Really, it's the same simple framing that I did at the underside of the stair, and that was to mimic the single flat panel door.
Very nice. So many decisions to make when you're building a house.
So many decisions. You can get overwhelmed with how many decisions you have to make sometimes.
How do you work with your clients so they don't get overwhelmed?
So we have a process for that if they're not working with a designer, or even if they are working with a designer, what we've learned to do is prioritize those selections and then give them to the owners in small bite-sized pieces, so that they're not thinking, oh my God, I have to choose all of these things. How am I going to do this and in what order? We give them the order, and we give them a timeline for when they need to give us those decisions, so that we can order them in time to have them on the job, so that it doesn't slow the job up.
That makes a lot of sense, because I can imagine if you're building a home like this, it could be very overwhelming for the homeowner, and to break it down like that makes it very manageable. Okay, well, a few audio difficulties at the end there, so we figured we'd cut it short. But we'll go back and take a look at the house when it's all finished and get to see what it looks like with the paper taken off the floor and all the walls painted. I think it's going to look fantastic. I have to say, I'm becoming a big fan of the transition style, and happen to think that a lot of the furniture that I make would look perfect in that house. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment. Let me know what else you would like me to focus on maybe in the future. This is going to be a show that I start producing at least once a month, so I hope you enjoy it. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.